gentlemen, what's going on? I know I'm meant to take a break, guys, but that ain't happening when the markets are moving, especially if it's dropping to the downside. I need to be there just to see what the story is and hopefully guide you guys into not thinking the worst. Okay, mad love and respect to everybody coming into the streams tonight. I should be chilling. Okay, and David, Josh, it's all over. Crypto is dead. Get your application in at McDonald's before it's too late. Nah, come on, bro. You know, that's not what it's about right now. You know? All right, listen. Russia's net crypto. No, man. Okay, I know I sound better. I managed to rest today. I have been at the charts, but I've just been at the charts doing my own thing, placing a few trades and what have you. I've been relaxed today, but I needed to come on because I said to myself, if Bitcoin does decide to try and make its way towards 40k, then I'm going to start streaming. I'm sorry. I'm not going to wait until it happens. I'm going to get involved so I can at least help you guys understand what the story is and what to expect next. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to the channel, mad love and respect. I don't know if this has been shared in the Discord or not. So if you can share it in the Discord. Happy days. I know, Scorpio, you're sorting that out. What is going on here? Get rid of that. Hold on, let me just get rid of this. Okay then, cool. So let's have a conversation, guys. Let's roll out and see what the story is with Bitcoin. Yeah, man, that was a good masterclass with him. Okay then, cool. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin. It is absorbing all of those longs. Now, listen, this is what I'm going to say to you, okay? We've been anticipating whether this zone right here was going to hold, okay? Based on the way they've been behaving, all right? We've had news. We've had all sorts of stuff being thrown at us, trying to throw off the retail trader, make him believe one thing is happening against the next, okay? Well, guess what? They've dropped it down lower now, all right? Now, this is what has happened. We need to understand why it did. Simple. The high block says so. There's roughly around $20 billion worth of longs that are in the chart, there or thereabouts, okay? At the highest peak, there was $31 billion. When it came down to about here, there was about $21 billion. And now they've just eaten all of that liquidity. The shorts have now come in high concentration. Now, I haven't been really focusing on this too much. Why? Because I can see it in the charts already. The big green vector candles to the upside. Mr. Market Maker, push, 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 and then push again. Now, because the circumstances in the chart and given with what's going on around the world, this area right here was somewhat confusing. We knew that they were going to come back down at some point, but we wanted to establish if they were going to make another attempt to the high before they did. Guess what? They didn't. They dropped it down lower. Okay, now we've got Bitcoin coming into recovery of this zone right here, which leads us into the next question. How low will Bitcoin go before it tries to come back up? Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't lose your minds, okay? Don't. There's no point in worrying if Bitcoin's going to collapse or not. This is a standard pullback. Because if you look at where Bitcoin is now, it was only in this place this last week, I believe. No, only a few days ago. Okay, on the 28th of February, where everyone was at their most optimistic when Bitcoin broke out. Okay, so don't see this as a chaotic thing. It's a standard pullback into the zone. All right. The only time you start getting worried, ladies and gentlemen, is if Bitcoin comes back down to this point right here, 32,853. That's when you start getting a little bit concerned, where we will start to see the liquidity at 30k potentially being absorbed in the book map. Okay, so just hold your horses. Don't lose your mind too much. There are plenty of points in the chart that they have triggered traders to commit, all right, where we may see a potential reversal. This could be one of them. But how long will the reversal happen for? Will it just come back up ever so slightly? If we look at the vector candles itself, we can sense that things may start to slow down by the presence of the violet vectors, because the red vector candle implies that volume is more than above average. It means that they are exchanging hands. And the tick chart, this is based on the tick volume, and it's based on how often price transacts. And we know that when we see the presence of a red vector candle, it implies that they're favoring lower prices, because that's where they build their longs. They build their longs when price is dropping. When I say they, I'm talking about the market maker. Okay? Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing these violet vector candles appearing at the lowest part of the chart. They've hit the range daily low. We usually expect them to try and pull back from this point, but given with the strength of this move itself, we won't know fully if the retrace is going to be substantial or not. Okay? Now, this is Bitcoin, of course. We still have this liquidity right here. Before it absorbs this liquidity, what will it actually do? It might actually pull back a little bit before it comes back down to prepare everything for the weekend. What if they are preparing a potential play to come back up next week? This is what we need to understand, because during the weekends or towards the end of the week, they like to bring price back into the range, build them more positions, and then look to try and move higher from there. So they set everything up at the end of the week. We're coming into Friday. Tomorrow will be the last day of trading, in the essence where a new trading week will start for crypto. Okay? Now listen, we've got this pattern right here. Okay? This is one pattern. Rise, retrace. This pattern is still valid even if price comes all the way down to here. So if price comes down to the 34,267, the pattern will still be valid. All right? Why? Because it hasn't broken the formation of this range. Price can go as far as it wants to the downside. All right? And it can bounce from this area and continue back up. It would be an massive level 1 drop. Okay? And it would reset the level, which means that we could be in midst of another peak. Because if you're probably wondering, hold on a second, when are these patterns going to play out? Well, they do play out. Look, this W formation played out. Now, this pattern this leg from this point right here and this retrace could lead into another leg to the downside. This could actually come into play. All right? Let me draw it out. This could be a formation. Now, this is going to take a little bit longer, guys. It may take a little while for it to form. But I'm giving you the structure of what's going on, because Bitcoin hasn't gone anywhere that it hasn't moved from in the last week or so. If it comes all the way down to here, it doesn't mean Bitcoin, that's it, it's the end of Bitcoin. It means it's coming down into a point where it can trigger retail traders to commit liquidity again and potentially move away from. The only time we get worried is if Bitcoin breaks below the 34,332, and then if it shows traction to move lower down to 32,880. Mark off those 2 points in the chart, ladies and gentlemen, and pay close attention to them. All right? Because Bitcoin isn't really gone, it hasn't really done much today. It's a sharp move down. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I agree. It is a sharp move, but ultimately it's coming back into the last zone it was in when it accumulated and moved away from. Now, if we zoom out, we do see a bigger pattern. Now, this is for my holders, okay? This is the big W formation, all right? This is consistent. This could be the last move down before they try and come back up. But if you notice, ladies and gentlemen, we are in this massive block, all right? This block right here. The highest point is 45,850. The lowest point is 32,897, okay? Bitcoin can do whatever it wants in this area, ladies and gentlemen, as long as it stays within this zone. For the holder's perspective, all right? For the day trader's perspective, you've got volatility all day, every day, and you can take advantage of price action as much as you want. But there is structure behind what is going on in this chart, okay? We've got a bigger pattern for the higher time frames. We've got a smaller pattern for the smaller time frames. What could be developing here could be the start of another W formation, which it looks bigger, but it's not as big as what this one is, okay? So this is why I'm saying to you guys, avoid getting all like worried or anything. I can appreciate if you have investments or you're already, you know, you're in trades that may be going against you. The golden rule in trading in principle says that if you're a day trader and you open a trade, If you haven't closed it within 2 hours, or should I say, if it hasn't realized the profit within 2 hours of you placing the trade, you need to cut it and then start again. That way you can manage, you get to manage your risk correctly, and you maintain a level of discipline that you're not just going to hold on to trades and apply the idea of having diamond hands and sit through anything. This is consistent with price action developing to induce traders to step in again, because unfortunately, yes, the longs have been liquidated. A lot of longs have been liquidated. All right. Now we're starting to see more shorts coming into the chart, and we can see at the lowest point right here, there's about $10 billion worth of shorts. Now the market maker is going to do exactly the same thing again. He's going to get more shorts committed to the range. He's going to eat some more longs, retrace, continuation, and then repeat the same process over and over again, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So don't lose your minds, all right? This is consistent with Bitcoin. We haven't had the full break run up. The move was fast. They consolidated, news manipulations, playing around with traders. They've dropped it to the downside. And funnily enough, usually when they move away from the psychological ranges at the start of the week, they usually come back to them and look at the support that is absorbing right now. How long the support holds for is a different story. So in terms of establishing where Bitcoin is likely to go next, all you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is you need to have a bit of patience and wait. Establish what time frame you're trading from. Establish if you are a long-term trader where you're looking for at least a big, like a 10K move. So you're looking for Bitcoin to finish up from 39K all the way to 49K. You're going to have to wait for a little bit more commitment, because until they break this zone up here, there's nothing for you to do. All right? Short-term day traders themselves, it is literally a free-for-all for you. You can enter long, you can do your shorts. You're looking for momentum. You're looking for volatility in the chart. You're looking at the smaller time frames, and you're looking to try and take advantage of price, rejections of the 200 EMA, rejections of the 50 EMA, red candle, green candle formation. Count the presence of vector candles. 1, 2, 3 hits. Okay? Are we cool with that, ladies and gentlemen? Are we cool with that? Are we good with that, ladies and gentlemen? Please let me know what you guys are saying. 31st of May when alts went nuclear. It's going to shoot up before that last support level because people expect it to go to that support level. Ultimately, yes, the MM keeps repeating his moves and doesn't look like he's ever going back up to all-time high. Well, look. Ultimately, this thing about Bitcoin never going to all-time high, all right? I believe that's a little bit flawed, okay? The reason being, well, actually, to be fair, I can understand why people say Bitcoin may not ever go to all-time high, because let's look at it like this, ladies and gentlemen. The market maker can build positions in this range, and he can profit from them by coming all the way back up to the same point that he dropped from, right? If he wants to try and make money on the backs of traders, okay, look what's happened here. $20 billion worth of longs have been liquidated. All right? 20 billion. Now that's doing it in a tight range, because before there was $20 billion worth of shorts. Now $20 billion worth of longs have been annihilated. What I'm saying to you is this. In the futures game, it doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes to all-time high or not. All right? All-time high but for Bitcoin only matters to the guys who are rolling out buying the Bitcoin. The purchases of Bitcoin is going to be reflected in this chart. All right? They can make their money on Bitcoin, whether it goes from 36 all the way to 45 and 45 down to 36 again. They don't need to wait for it to go to an all-time high to make money. That's what the retail trader thinks. Because the retail trader buys at 42 and he waits for it to get to 72. He's brought Bitcoin and he's at an all-time high with Bitcoin. And the worst thing about it, people wait for an all-time high, but they don't do anything about an all-time high. They keep a hold of the coin, and then they're worried about what's going to happen at this all-time high. They go through the stage of denial and price drops. Then what happens? They're back in the same spot as they were before, waiting for an all-time high. This is why Bitcoin ain't hitting those all-time highs yet. Because they're making the money on the fast moves up and the fast moves down. Yeah? Cool. With that being said, guys, let's have a look at some altcoins. It is going to be a short stream, but I just want to address a few things with you guys. Okay, then. So it seems like it is pretty red across the board. All right, so let me just change the percentages. We haven't had that much success in the charts with anything. AVAX seems to be doing okay. Well, I wouldn't say it's doing great. Okay, it's still also ranging out. SXP, nothing much. Ren is probably the only token right now that is doing pretty well given the current circumstances. A lovely W formation on the 4-hour time frame. Appears to be playing nicely with that. This is what you want Bitcoin to do, man. A nice big play coming up, testing the previous zones in the chart, taking out all the liquidity and potentially trying to come up into these big bad boy ranges up there. Okay. Looking at the worst performers today, we have ourselves 1 inch, Ava, Alice, Arcs, anything in particular. What have we got here? Check Luna. Gold is rising. Of course, gold is rising. Let's just actually do that. Trader's sentiment. Let me just put this chart up here. What's Luna doing? Luna's pulling back. Luna is doing a very good job. She hit our projection point up here. Happy days. Luna's doing a great job of actually holding its losses or the losses across the board. All right. It's doing a fantastic job right there. Okay. Looking at the S&P 500. Yeah, it seems to not be doing so well right there. Gold, on the other hand, is making the move to the upside and she's recovered the whole zone. Unbelievable. Oh, my days. So then that means gold is likely to come up to... Oh, my days. Okay, so if knowledge serves me correctly, there is a vector candle all the way up here to the left. Yes, there is, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine gold getting up to 2040 again? Wow. That is very wow. Where you at? There is no reason why that can't happen. Look at that. I do believe if gold does decide to go up towards this range right here, ladies and gentlemen, gold will have a beautiful drop to the downside. Absolutely phenomenal drop. All right, Pax Gold against Bitcoin. You can see this is gold against Bitcoin. Pax Gold is going up. Of course, Bitcoin is pulling down, which is unfortunate for Bitcoin. That's the USDT market cap. Patrons, you know what I'm talking about with that. Let me just get Bitcoin up. There you go. Coming sharply down below the range daily low, ladies and gentlemen. Pax Gold for Bitcoin going up. Recovery of the violet vector candle right there. Green vector candles being absorbed in the chart. She's making her way down towards it. It's very unfortunate for Bitcoin right now. Very unfortunate. Before smart money came in years ago, to the moon scenarios were possible. Those days are now over. ETFs also have been a game changer. That is correct, my friend. You know, but then that doesn't mean that it can't do an all-time high again. All right. Bitcoin is now just getting, this is where you see a lot of adoption by traders, the heavier traders. And we need that. Here we go. Now, look at this. On the 22-hour chart with Bitcoin, all right, we're starting to see a violet vector candle. That's positive news, guys. That's good news. Because the same way Bitcoin went up here is the same way it came down here is the same way it's gone up here, and it's the same way that it's going to come back up into this range. Why? Why is it going to come back up into that range? You see, you've got to understand, guys, they can't leave this zone. It's an imbalance in the chart. They have to come back into that range. Okay? Now, in terms of the imbalance itself, there are points in the chart that they haven't yet come back to. But the unfortunate truth is this. Likewise, when they come back into the imbalances of the vector candles, is the same truth with the wicks. Okay? There is a high chance that Bitcoin's going to absorb all of this range right here and test last week's low. Because that's last week's low was where traders stepped in again. Right now, traders are getting charged. Right now, they're paying the price. Losses are being hit right now. Okay? Now, the guys who went long in this area are thinking, oh my God, man, Bitcoin's getting close, man, getting close. Oh, no way, no way. And all the short sellers are thinking, yeah, baby, man, it's going to come back down to this point. We're going to trigger if it breaks down below this point. And then, unfortunately, the short sellers will get led down towards this zone right here where Bitcoin could potentially spike from and come back up. Yeah? There is a lot of volatility in the charts right now. This is standard for Friday behavior, ladies and gentlemen. You know? In the next hour and 43 minutes, pay attention to the 22-hour chart. All right? In the next hour and 43 minutes, the 22-hour chart will finalize. 2 more hours later will be the start of a new daily candle. All right? So is this going to give us sort of a heads up of a little bit of a recovery into tomorrow? Or is it just going to completely annihilate the range? Bitcoin is performing pretty fast right now, guys. We just need to pay attention to it. Range weekly low coming down. There is a lot of movement to the downside. Psychological low is where the trigger is. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. Wouldn't you want to buy it low? Listen, Blair Jackson, the idea of buying Bitcoin cheaper and people doing the dollar cost averaging and what have you, that's fine. You can do that, all right? But do you have the grit and do you have the liquidity to be able to withstand this sort of play based on the areas that you've been buying from? Okay? Why do you think gold will go down even if there is a war going on? Because commodities, of course, commodities are going to rise, okay? But not everyone will start feeling fearful all the time, all right? They are now putting money into gold, right? Because everyone's like, okay, we're fearful across the board. The only thing that's looming across the board right now is the idea of an interest rate hike and what the situation's going to be with that. Are they going to do it? Yes or no, okay? They will always factor in what has happened and the effect of what could happen. They always factor it into the charts. Fundamentalists wait for it to happen in the long term. They expect it to happen in the future. The marketplace will absorb what could happen now. So the result of it could happen now. It was only a few days ago when they said the war was kicking off. Gold was dropping. Bitcoin was rising. Then when the war gets completely into swing, okay, price ends up going up again. So hold on a second. Why is it that war's happening and all the commodities are rising? Well, they set them up. They know what this war's about. They can anticipate it. These guys in this industry know a thing or two about what's going on out there. If you're of the belief that everything is premeditated, you know, you can't have such an efficient system, all right, and not be in the know. We're talking banks, institutional funds, hedge funds, all right, governments. They all come to the game of futures, leverage, all right. It's a cash machine. It's a legitimate cash machine, because what better way, okay, to get away with madness in the charts, all right, and to verify it in understanding is as the game of speculation. That's why the stock market is so heavily regulated, okay? Because we're talking financials here, you know, dividends, bonds and what have you. But when we're talking about cryptocurrency, no regulation. Forex, no regulation. The only regulation in Forex is when the IMF decides to approach these guys who are market making in these platforms, and they say to them, please don't offer so much leverage to people. And on top of that, make sure you keep price within a certain range, because we don't want to disrupt any other currency pairs around the world. We want to make it a fair playing field. No problem, the liquidity providers say. That's fine. All right. But look, it is an obliteration in the chart, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what we need to see. We need to see it come back down, take back the liquidity. This is where we need to be focused. We need to be focused on points in the chart that they are absorbing liquidity from. That's the key thing. When it gets into zones like this, okay, that's where you pay attention, because it's at this point where you're likely to see vectors to come in to try and move back up, or vectors to go and continue down lower. Okay, looks like they're trying to make their way, and Bitcoin will have to move very fast to get down into this range. All right, so just don't worry about it. You know, do not worry about it. It always has been, you know. Russia could also start using its gold reserves, increasing supply, maybe. You call this fair? Do I call this fair? Let me tell you something, bro. The idea of being fair in this game, you would have already had to accept that it's not fair when you're stepping into the game of speculation. It's not a game for the faint-hearted. No way. You can't come into the game of trading with the idea that it's going to work out one day. And, you know, it's so unfortunate. You know, when are they going to be nice to each other? It's all about what color is, you know, what is the color of money to you and what's the color of money to them. You know, this is what we need to understand. This game is treacherous. I'm sorry. And it's advertised in such a way that it is a reliever, the desire to be a trader. All right. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, you will be challenged. And I ain't trying to scare you off. I'm spitting the hard truth about trading that only few people will tell you about. That doesn't mean you can't exploit it, guys. Come on. If you come into trading with the idea of wanting to know how to trade and understand the science behind it, you've got a great chance of succeeding at it. All right? People look to make $1 million before their first trade is taken. Some of the great authors in the game of trading, and that would be trading psychology, Mr. Mark Douglas. Go and check it out. Go to Amazon. Check out Mark Douglas and buy his book, Trading in the Zone. Just go to Amazon and get that book. Because before, if I had my time again, I would focus more on my mindset before I focus on any trading system. Because you can have a trading system, and you've heard me say this again. Give two gentlemen a trading system that guarantees to them 100% win rate. One guy wins 100% of the time. The other guy loses 100% of the time, even though he's got the same system. What is the problem there? Okay. Tell us again, who did you blame when you started trading? Who did I blame? Well, I'll tell you who I blamed. I blamed my laptop. I blamed the weather. Okay. I blamed the next door neighbor's dog. I blamed traffic lights. I blamed the clutch in my car. I blamed absolutely everything. All right. I needed an excuse to justify why I was doing so bad. I was losing lots, and it was like I was proud to lose a lot, because I thought, if I'm going to be good at something, I might as well be good at this. Yeah. So I was really good at losing a lot. Then it switched for me, and I said, hold on a second. If I can lose a lot and I'm good at it, let me try and lose a little and be good at that. And I just let it sit in my mind. And from that point, I focused on losing little, and I got really good at it. And then my wins were always going to be covering me. I remember I ran some statistics on my trading, and over a sample size of trades, I think it was about 3,000 trades, 73% of my trades were in the profit before they were in the loss. So in other words, had I paid myself on those profitable trades, I'd be sitting and eating cheese. I'm talking cheese, ladies and gentlemen. The expected value would be phenomenal had I closed the trades at the time they were profitable. But no, I got greedy. I wanted more, you know, looking at my phone while I'm in a trade, okay, and it's up like 7-8 racks, and I'm saying to myself, yeah man, let me go onto Instagram, let me see what's going on, what can I get, what can I buy, and then guess what, I ain't on Instagram anymore. I'm looking at newspaper adverts for a job, because the same 8 racks that I thought I was going to have were actually now minus. Why did I do that? Why was I always doing that? What a waste of time. Commit so much effort into this, and you don't actually get anything out from it. Pay yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Your concern is not how and when is Bitcoin going to all-time high. Your concern isn't which whale is buying Bitcoin. Your concern isn't if the on-chain analytics are showing that the XY ratio and this ratio and that ratio, Sailor ratio, how much is he buying? It's irrelevant what anyone else does when it comes to Bitcoin. If you're trading futures, even worse. All you care about is movement. From now on, I'm going to actually remove the price from the chart, so we focus exclusively on the candlesticks. And I can guarantee your trading will change if you remove the price from the charts. Let's look at it logically. Let's see how it looks right now. Okay? If you remove the chart from if you remove price from your chart, you make it dark. All right? Like literally get rid of it. Nothing there. You can't see it. Okay, other than the actual current price itself, you tend to focus more on what's going on here, because I know when you're studying the charts, you're looking back and you're saying, oh, I remember back in the day when Bitcoin was up here and I had 45, man. Could it ever go back to 45 again? All right, let's just Google it. Let's go check out on YouTube. Who's talking about 45? Is anyone talking about 100K? Yeah, man, look at how cool it would be if Bitcoin goes to 100K. How much value would that be? Irrelevant. You don't need to worry about Bitcoin being at 100K. You want to be worried about the volatility in the charts. It's all about the futures markets. Okay, it's what people are committing in this marketplace. All right, $20 billion worth of longs have been saturated. They have been annihilated. But the same way 20 billion longs have been attacked is the same way shorts have now come into the charts. So Mr. Market Maker has another group of liquidity he can work towards again. He ain't going to let those shorts get away with it. No way. He's not letting the shorts get away with it. Trust me on that one. Screenshot this bad boy right here, and we'll come back to it next week, and we'll have a conversation about it. Yeah? Bitcoin coming down to 39K. Ethereum taking the battering to the 2,600 range, going into the next zones of liquidity right there. Happy days for Ethereum. Going back into Bitcoin, we can see it's moving pretty fast. XRP is also doing a good job of coming down, but it seems like it wants to stall in this range. But I believe Bitcoin is going to be the predominating factor that's going to be moving into these ranges. Okay? This is what it is. You know? You know what? Yes, the market, this is it. The market, who said it? The market will never run your way. The market will never run away, but your money does. Okay, so yeah, the market will never run away, but your money does. But then you can run with the market. That's a big difference. The idea is to run with the market, not let your money run away from the market. All right? USDT dominance chart. Happy days. Red vector candle recovery. Of course it has. Did we not speak about this? Go back in the streams. Remember, guys, the reason why I bang on about the streams, okay, is because there are points in the chart that you can refer back to in the befores and the afters, because it solidifies the learning of the hybrid system. Then you're going to recognize that if you saw these green vector candles in this zone right here in the beforehand, okay, so here's an example of it right here. Had this chart. All right, and this is a chart that I gave out to the patrons where I'm having a conversation about understanding that principally, is Bitcoin going to come back into this range? Or should I say, is USDT going to come back into this range where traders are feeling like they need to come back into this zone because they're a little bit fearful and they want to get rid of their Bitcoin? All right, these are the zones. Tell me why they come back to these zones, especially on the USDT chart. So in other words, profit taking, accumulation, profit taking, accumulation. Is that what this is? And then we look at the chart itself. Happy days. You know, look at the story. I've never said it. You know, it's one of those ones. Look at Bitcoin at that point in time. Yeah, X marks the spot. Range daily low. Range weekly low. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin right now, completely ripped that zone. Range daily low. Range weekly low, and pulled back. It's despicable, but the patterns are there. The behavior is the same. You know. The behavior is the same, ladies and gentlemen. And forgive me, listen, I'm Greek, okay? My heritage is Cypriot. If I sound like I'm shouting at you, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm passionate in what I do. I just, forgive me if you feel like I'm ranting at you. I just really want you guys to understand it, because all you need to do is understand it, all right? That's all you've got to do. And then you then have to understand how you behave in this chart. You know? That's all it is. So are we satisfied, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, are we satisfied? Yes, there's Batman patterns, Bart Simpson patterns, okay? But do you know what? This is the Marge Simpson head. This ain't no Bart Simpson. This is Marge. Yeah? That's the Marge head. Yeah? Shit, man, I need to get rid of that, man. Oh, excuse me. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. What a guy. LSG, what's this? Tina, you are the only one I watch because of trade. Yes, trading is a lonely place. Trading is a lonely place. You know? Thank you for your comments, guys. Thank you for your comments. It's all love. It's Cyprus, not Greece. You know? It's funny, man. People say like, yo, Tino, you from Cyprus? Like, yeah, that's where my family originates from. Yeah, both my parents and what have you. And they're like, yeah, I went to Greece last year. I was like, bro, what's that got to do with Cyprus, bro? It's 500 miles apart. Ain't it the same place? No, it's not the same place, bro. Like, you know, doesn't make sense. Some people are funny, man. Anyway, mad love and respect to all of you people. I'm going to rest. I need to chill out. I'm burnt out, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. We're bringing the fire. If you are new to the channel, you want to download these indicators, pinned to the top of the chat is the access to the website that you can access it free of charge and download everything. I've got a beautiful team of people working on the indicators to make life easier for you guys as well. Get yourself over into the Discord, show some love down there. The community is fire in there. And just trade well, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Have yourselves a wonderful evening. I've got nothing but love for you. Take care of yourselves. Peace.